Great morning, great morning, great morning. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is time for the It's About You radio show on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. I'm your host, Maurice McDonald, and each and every Tuesday morning, I always say it is an honor, privilege, and just outright greatness of God for me to have this platform to share this information, ladies and gentlemen. And because it's 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I know somebody's at work, someone's in the gym, someone's having breakfast, whatever you're doing. By the way, if you're in the gym, get that last rep in just for me because you're on a mission. You got it. You're almost there. Don't stop. If you're joining me for the very first time, I've had 3 amazing careers: law enforcement, professional school counselor, domestic violence counseling, and now teaching at a college. And now having a radio show. Can you believe it? It was a 40-year delay because I want you to know that over 40 years ago, I decided I wanted to go into radio, television, broadcasting. I wanted to be able to share a message. But guess what? I got that platform now. I don't take it for granted. I don't take it lightly. It is an honor, as I said, to be here. And because it's 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I always give the motivation quote of the day. The quote of the day is an anonymous one. I wish I was smart enough to come up with this one. The quote of the day says, "Everything will always work out in the end. And if things aren't working out, it's not the end." Let me say that again. Everything will always be okay and work out in the end. And if things aren't okay, that means it's not the end. To me, that just speaks volumes of never quitting, never giving up. Because you go through some things, because we all go through something. You're going to go through something. From the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, life will be lifing. And you can't throw the towel in, because oftentimes right at the moment of success is when you're about to throw the towel in. So somebody today, you're going through something. You got a diagnosis. You got something. You didn't do well on an exam. Something happened. You had a car accident. You're still alive, okay? So whatever it is you're going through, it's not over yet. So it's not over. Someone I have great respect for, the great Les Brown, always says, "It ain't over till I win." Yeah, it ain't over till you win. So you got to tell yourself that, listen, I got to make it through. Today's motivational quote today has been brought to you by MauriceMcDonald.net. MauriceMcDonald.net. Go there and learn all about your amazing gut microbiome. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not in the studio today. I have the honor. I've been having this platform. I've been very blessed. It's been over 2 years to have this platform. And I must say, I do not take it for granted. Every week, I say that. And today, I'm going to interview someone today. I've always interviewed different people, amazing people with stories. But, today's show is a little different from all the other shows I've ever done. I'm interviewing someone I've known for over 30 years. I'm interviewing someone who is trailblazer, someone who's does not tap dance to anybody else's music, walks a path he wants to walk, impacting lives of people, traveling, seeing the world, bringing joy to a lot of people. And I've been wanting this platform with this person for a very, very long time. And let me go ahead and just say this, that the person has the same last name that I have. Isn't that a coincidence? Absolutely that. So today I have the honor and privilege of being in his studio, Mr. Cory McDonald. Yes, Cory McDonald. I've known him over 30 years. Ladies and gentlemen, he's my son. Absolutely. So today brings a lot of joy because I think back to let me take it back to the 20-year-old me wanting to go into radio, television, broadcasting as a sophomore, leaving college, moving to North Carolina for the summer vacation. And it turned out my creator had a different plan for me because he introduced me to the Carolina School of Broadcasting. And my major was communication in college, sophomore. So I want to go into radio, television, broadcasting, and I get a chance to go to a show. I mean, of course, my mother didn't like it, of course, but long story short, I attended the Carolina School of Broadcasting, but my creator had a different plan for me because at that time, I didn't have anything to say, to talk about. What was on the radio? What was I going to do? I enjoyed it, but those ideas of going to college and becoming a law enforcement officer, becoming a professional school counselor, all those things I had to do first. That was part of the plan. And then radio came. Well, why am I bringing that up? Because now my son, it's changed the game up totally. And this is his creativity passed on. So with that said, I want to welcome to the show none other than Cory McDonald. Welcome, Mr. McDonald.
Thank you. We happy to be here. We finally were able to make it happen.
Yes. Because I've been talking about doing this. You and I have been chit-chatting how we're going to do it, what we're going to do. Yeah. But hey, listen, there's nothing greater. And by the way, because you're a father now, you're understanding yourself what it's like when your child succeeds.
Right.
Yeah, because that part, yeah. So this is fantastic for me. So if you would, tell my audience a little bit about you, why you do what you do, where'd you go to college, and what a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, definitely. I think I like to say that I like to live a creative life. And I think that is something that I find to be the nucleus of everything that I do. It has to be centered around creativity. And really starting out before college, before my senior year in high school, I was not considered a creative person. I played sports, football, wrestling, ran track, and creativity wasn't something that was kind of in me that I thought. And then I took a photography class my senior year of high school, and that kind of opened my eyes to a world that I just fell in love with. Now, technically, I always had creativity in me mentally. I just didn't have a medium to kind of express myself, but I always thought creatively. I thought about ad campaigns. I remember being in high school, I did DECA, which is like a sports marketing kind of club. And I would create campaigns for Under Armour, and I did stuff for Nike and Nike football, and I would kind of love that idea of things, but I never knew that I was actually like creative. But once I took my first photography class, I was like, okay, I got an eye. This feels good to me. I can do this. And I never looked back after that.
Yeah, and that just speaks volumes to me, because what you just brought out to me was the school counselor in me that came out, because I was always wanting to help people. Mm-hmm. And as a school counselor, I remember having this conversation with parents. I want my son to go be a lawyer. And they didn't want that. Their creativity was a total different direction.
Yeah.
And they will always fight against what the child wants to do. Because if it's in you, it won't go away.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to have that conversation. Let them find their path. Let them take those other courses. Let them go out and explore. So this is for parents who are listening to this. Let the child discover, because guess what? There's a saying that your gift will make room for you.
Yeah. And sometimes that path, I was working in New York for a while, and my friend that I was with, he kind of had his thing, and I didn't have a thing yet. I was kind of just with him, and he was kind of leading the meetings, and I was just kind of his friend. I didn't have a thing, and I was kind of like a little discouraged. It's like, well, what am I going to be doing? He has this thing. He's great at talking. He's great at speaking. But then come a year later, I found photography, and the next time we were in New York, he was my assistant, and I was shooting something. And it's like, he was kind of trying to figure out where he stood in that, because sometimes the dream or creativity takes time to develop. It doesn't always come automatically. So if you feel like you don't have your creativity, you don't have your thing yet, sometimes it just takes time to figure that thing out. Everyone doesn't get it early on. LeBron, though, he wouldn't play basketball when he was young, but some people don't figure out their talent until their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, or their 50s. So I think that's a great testament to sometimes feeling like, what is my thing, and upset that you don't have a thing, but maybe you just need a bit more time to figure out what your thing is.
Absolutely. And hey, there's a saying in education, again with me, the famous educator made a statement once. She talked about, and this is the motto as a college professor I have to keep in mind, all students don't learn the same day nor the same way.
Yeah.
Their creativity is totally different. And you have to let their time to grow and blossom. And they're late bloomers.
Yeah.
And then there are people who know immediately and they go right at it. And as you mentioned this from your time in New York, let's talk about your college experience. When you got to college and you really discovered something, and you were able to network with some other people, and that got you to New York. Tell my audience about that.
Yeah, so I went to East Carolina University. I majored in, well, I started off in trying to be a graphic designer in the art school, but they only select maybe 12 people out of the program and might be about 500 applicants. So, as someone who, again, wasn't classically trained in art, you have to take drawing and sculpture before you can get into graphic design. So I lasted one semester in art school, and I had to switch out. I switched to communications, and that was probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. Again, another nugget of your life is going to guide you where it needs to go, and sometimes the no is just a misdirection of where you need to be. So I ended up in communication. I got a degree in public relations and interpersonal communications, and so with that, I was dealing with a lot of marketing still, camera production, and that's when I kind of had a camera, and me and my friend, we started a multimedia company in college. Really, we were really just getting started, but we had a college athlete at the time. He wanted to make a promo video, and this was YouTube back in like 2009, so early YouTube. And we created a video for him. Just kind of, he wanted to get scouts for the NFL. He was about to graduate college and wanted to go to the NFL. So he's like, can we make a video that will kind of help make, I can send scouts and kind of get some buzz. So of course we kind of just filmed a video, not thinking much of it. And actually we used the audio from E.T., the hip hop preacher. But back in this day, there was really no copywriting. So you could just kind of steal things and put it on there. So we put his audio on it and put his video, and we went to bed, and then we woke up the next morning, and it had went viral. And this is viral before viral. Like now everything kind of goes viral now, right. But back then there wasn't really true viral videos. But from that opportunity, we created a video that went viral, and it was on different blogs the next morning. And there's an ESPN article that said LeBron watched it before the finals game back when he was with Miami, just for motivation. And that video now probably has, I don't know, 20 million. I don't know how many views it has. I stopped looking at it. But that was an early success of like, okay, I actually do have a talent here. I stumbled on greatness. So how can I build on this? And from there, I think that's when we both were kind of like, okay, we can tell stories with video. The world is going towards video. And flashback to 2026 now, of course, everything is video now. Yeah. But that was just some early wins that kind of give you signals that you're on the right path. And you got to make sure that you recognize those signals, and you have to double down on those signals and continue to create more.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're telling that story, because I gotta tell my story as of what I did when you told me about that.
Yeah.
And this is for parents. Yeah, this wasn't my greatest moment. You came and showed me the video, and I looked at the video, and the name of the video was "How Bad Do You Want It?" And it was amazing. It was lovely. I mean, everything it was kicking. And you said, "Dad, this is what you think about this?" And I'm looking at it, and mind you, you're a sophomore in college, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at the video, and it's so good. And at the end, while I was listening to it and looking at it, I was telling myself, Lord, this boy he think he gonna be able to do work like this. I don't want to bust his bubble. I want him to think, have a backup plan, because whoever did this one, this is great. And I don't want him to get his hopes too high. I don't want to let him down. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and if you're all in my audience, I know you're laughing at me now. And then after when it finished, you said to me, I said, "Son, this is nice, but the guy that did this is a professional." And you said, "Dad, I did that." I will never forget that. After I got my size 10.5 out of my mouth, open mouth, insert foot, I knew then you had a talent. And I'm thinking, wow, he's got this. And I looked at it again, and I kept looking at it again, and I started using that video in my college classes.
Oh, wow.
I would go to my class day one. That was open. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do it again. It's been a while since now, I'm about to start back to teach it again as my first class when I go in there, because I got people from all backgrounds. I've got people who dropped out of school. I've got people who don't believe in themselves. I got people in my students who've been formerly incarcerated, or they have a drug problem and they're in recovery. So they come in there broken. They were teen moms. They're 32 years old now, and they were pregnant at 15, and they were, she was kicked out of the house. She was kicked out of the church. She was a black sheep of the family, called all names. Now you're in a college class thinking, how am I going to get a degree?
Yeah.
I keep looking at my past, and I always remind them, your rearview mirror is only for you to glance. The windshield's what you should keep your eyes on. And so, and I use that video, and I asked them, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
How bad do you want this degree? If you look at that video, and I hope my audience go look at it again, you'll see that video. If you really want it, there's a lot of work the football player is doing in that video, and he's grinding. Also, if you've been wanting to work out or you've been wanting to get back in shape, watch that video.
Yeah, that's a good one. Get you going.
Get you going. You don't have to do what they do,
Yeah.
but it just means get out there and start walking. Watch that video. How bad do you want it? And of course, after I use that video, a lot of times I would tell my students all the time with great pride, because the father in me would always come out, my son made this video. And they would go, wow, and they were, stunned. I said, listen, he made this, he wasn't 20 years old. He may have been about 20. And I said, everybody's got a story. So fast forward, when you made that journey, when you made a connection to go to New York, talk about the experience of what you did, of course, in college to help you propel you to some of what you're doing now.
Yeah. So, I mean, in college, especially these days, it's hard to justify the value of college. But I will say that, and it's kind of cliche, but it's the connections that you make in college that kind of set you in the right. The schooling is the schooling. Right now, college is preparing you for a world that doesn't exist anymore. So that's
Correct.
kind of weird right now. But what stays the same is connection and networking.
That relationships.
And relationships, for sure. And you're going to meet some of your best friends in college, and also you're going to meet people that might set you on a path that you didn't even know you want to go on. Because one of my friends who actually went to NC State. I had someone come and speak to my class, to my public relations firm, and he was from a marketing company, and he was a marketing director. And my friend was like, "Well, let's get his number. Let's talk to him. He lives in New York. He's a big shot. Let me get his number." So my friend reached out, and long story short, we had an internship in New York City with him. And he took us all over New York City in meetings that we shouldn't have been in. His one rule was, when we get in here, don't say nothing. And so I followed those rules. We sat there, but we were in these corporate rooms. And this is, again, 2010, 2011, New York City. And just being in the room, observing, listening, I feel like I grew so much just from being able to kind of just be in the room. Sometimes it's about just being in the room.
Yes.
You can learn so much if you don't have to say anything. Just be where the people are and be where the next level is, and you'll start to absorb everything subconsciously. Because when I leave the meeting, sometimes I'm like, okay, that was a bust. But then now looking back, when I go to pitch something to a brand, I'm comfortable when I've been in rooms because I've been doing it since I was 20. So now the lesson might come later, but I was able to be in New York City. And then that same guy that I interned for became the marketing director at a fashion company in New York. And so he called me up and said, "Hey, I just got this position. I want you to come up and do video for us." So that's when I was able to go and shoot Fashion Week in New York City. And again, I'm at this stage still maybe 21 years old. No experience in shooting fashion at the time, but I jumped at the opportunity because I had a job here in Charlotte and I was not happy with it. First job out of college, and it was kind of rocky. And as soon as I saw the opportunity, I was like, I'm on the flight. 2 weeks later, I was in New York City. And really is the choice was easy because I hated where I was at. But sometimes if you like where you're at, but the life you want is a flight away, you got to make that jump. And I made that jump.
The life you want is a flight away. Ooh, listen, I'm borrowing that. I love that. Yes, indeed. Because oftentimes people won't even go around the corner for the opportunity they want.
Yeah.
It's across town. It's too far. And I love what you said, being in the room.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, the rooms you're in, all the deals are made on the golf course, at a tennis place, or being in the room to meet the person. You don't know them.
Yeah.
But when you meet them, they connect you to the next person. And now you get invited to many rooms.
Yeah.
Now you're in rooms with people that are, as they say, that if a person is in front of you talking and your check is bigger than yours, you should be listening. You should be taking notes.
Yeah.
And being able to, you have now been in the rooms with billionaires and millionaires. I remember you took a picture of you sitting in a Rolls Royce
Yeah, yeah.
with R&R on the headrest.
Yeah.
And that wasn't rest and relaxation,
No.
folks. Okay, that was Rolls Royce. And meeting with some individuals, and that is so important to find that right place where you belong, and don't be afraid. And like you said, you didn't like what you were doing, didn't like where you were. But again, this is for people now who are on a job. You can't stand it. You're gonna just up and quit. Don't quit yet. There's something there until you get ready to make a move someplace else.
Right.
And sometimes the place you're at that you don't work is fuel to make you do better.
Yeah, and the opportunity that I was going for paid less in New York City. So it was the opportunity that I left. It wasn't just because it was a better opportunity money-wise, but It's like, this is closer to the life I want to live. Even though I may have to struggle a bit more, I was young, I didn't have a family. This is the time to go and make that jump and figure out how you're going to make it. But I had a free way to get to New York City and then find a place to stay, and I can work in New York City, or I can stay in Charlotte at the job that I hate, but I'm making a bit more money down here.
Right.
So sometimes the opportunity isn't about the money, it's about just the opportunity to change your timeline of your life.
Exactly. And that goes to show a lot of times it isn't the money. Because sometimes, like you said, you took less, but later on it became more.
Right. Yeah.
If you only think, I'm doing that. No, sometimes, and by the way, there are so many people who've made it, actors and actresses and professional singers and everybody else, and average people, they volunteered.
Yeah.
They did a free internship.
Yeah.
People, I wouldn't work for free. Oh, no. Oh, you're planting seeds.
And then it goes back to, do you really want it?
Yeah.
Like, if you really want it, you'll probably do it for free.
As a matter of fact, they said that, how do you know your career? If you would do it with no money.
Yeah.
And you still would do it without losing enthusiasm, that lets you know that's where you belong.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people make a lot of money, but they hate their job.
Yeah. If I got to pay you to do it, you probably don't love it as much. Obviously, you want to make money, but
absolutely.
If I have to pay you to do it.
Yeah. And I think there's so many people who see opportunity, but they tag the idea of, I don't want to live there. I don't want to take a pay cut. I don't want, because I know there's so many times that you got to find that spot.
Yeah.
That spot that says, this is where I belong. This is my growth. I know I can make this, but I got to sacrifice.
Yeah.
If you don't sacrifice, you can't get there sometimes. That journey that you have gone on. So since you went to New York, made all those connections, lived in New York. How long did you live in New York?
I was there for about 2 years.
2 years in New York City, networking with folks from your past, from college and everything else. And that
I didn't live there until 2 years, but I was back and forth through college all my college years.
Right.
Basically, my summers were in New York.
I noticed that because you would call, Dad, I'm in New York. I remember you sent me a picture. You were there and a text message. Hey, Dad, I'm in a meeting here, the food, and I've never seen shrimp this big. Little prongs, I think, right?
Yeah.
The first time you were sitting here and people were eating, and you said, I'm eating for free.
Yeah.
And I think you were doing a red carpet, and I believe it may have been one of the celebrities in the background. Was it
a Kardashian?
Yeah. Kim Kardashian was in the background, and you had that red carpet. I'm thinking, and I could imagine as a young person, college student, that had to be, a chance of a lifetime.
Yeah. And I kept having this thought of like, what do I do with this? Because I'm here, like, what do I do? But I think a lot of life, it's just about, again, being in the room. There wasn't anything for me to do but soak it up, absorb, pay attention, because now all that is benefiting me now.
Right.
But back then I couldn't find what to do with it. But I think sometimes the do is to just take it in.
To take it in, absolutely. And so now, fast forward the years now, you're doing photography. I see you all over the place on Instagram, and you got your brand. You're just impacting the lives. You used to do weddings.
Yes.
Those types of things that you were involved with all of that. One of the things I look at is that you have diversified yourself. You're truly living your best life, obviously.
Yeah.
and you are also being able to impact the lives of individuals. Tell us about some of the things and ways you've kind of impacted the lives of people, or share your story with the world.
Yeah, I think that, as I've gotten older through travel, I've had the opportunity to travel the world a little bit way more than I want to. I mean, way more than others, but not as much as I want to. But I think that I found the passion of being able to try to share and urge people to also see the world, because I think that being able to do that, it changes your perspective on life. And I think that a lot of people's problems, they're only problems because their worldview is small. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, with my daughter, we like to travel with her because, in high school, you think your world is high school.
Right.
You think your world is middle school, your friends. But when you have a bigger worldview, some of the issues you have, you realize that, okay, this is where I am right now, but this isn't my life. It's bigger. Life is bigger than my problems right now.
Life is bigger than my problems. That is powerful.
And so when you're able to travel, you can kind of see that that's the issue there. Like I can travel the world, and my problems only kind of when I'm in a plane, I look down. I feel like my problems are down there. Yeah. They're not in the plane with me.
That's right. And that view is so powerful. Let you know that what, I can rise above my problems.
Yeah.
Or I can say it's kind of like the morning quote I started with, that it ain't over.
Yeah.
Everything will work out in the end.
Yeah.
But if it ain't working out, the end ain't here yet.
Yeah.
Stay the course,
yeah.
And you can get through these problems. That you have. I want to take just a little quick break for a second. What if I told you that some of the most powerful influences in your life live in your gut? That's right. Trillions of tiny microbes make up your gut microbiome, and they're busy chatting with your brain, your immune system, even your mood. These conversations are called gut axis. Think of it as your body's group chat. When the gut speaks, everything listens. So if you're unhappy, check your gut. Your energy, your focus, your digestive might feel better. The good news: small changes like eating more fiber, supporting good bacteria, and managing stress can make a big difference in your health. Tiny microbes, huge impact. Start in the gut. Change one thing and change everything. Go to MauriceMcDonald.net. That's MauriceMcDonald to learn more about the gut health and get the healthy edge, or call 877-634-8194 to get free samples. That's 877-634-8194. Do it today. So in other words, you were talking about that graduation, man, I remember saying that. Now I do. At the time I did. I forgot. You said, what cake? Thinking.
I've used that analogy ever since I heard that one.
Yeah. So yeah. So say that analogy again.
Yeah. So if you're baking a cake, you can have all the ingredients. In this example, the ingredients is you have the hunger, you have the right connections, you have the right support, and you're still not where you want to be. Sometimes you're just missing the time. You can have all the ingredients in the cake, but if you put it in for 10 minutes and not 25 minutes and take it out, you're not going to have a cake yet. Or if you put it in, closer to the time, the cake might be it might fall apart. It's not the best cake yet. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you might have all the ingredients you need, but the last ingredients that you can't change it. It's just you got to put that time in.
Got to put the time in.
Under the heat.
Yeah, time under the heat. So there's two things you said: time under the heat, and the other one I got to remember what you said about the flight. Oh, one flight away.
Well, yeah, your opportunity is sometimes a flight away.
Opportunity is one flight away, and time under the heat. Yeah. And the heat is what most because we live in a microwave society.
Yeah, they want to zap it real quick.
Instant. It's kind of like this. People may look at your success or any of its celebrity success. Oh, I want to be like them. Oh, they're overnight success. No. You forgot the 12 years they struggled.
Yeah.
The 12 years they had no success.
Yeah.
When everybody else was quitting, they stayed the course.
Yeah.
They stayed the course. And then man, but everybody wants to be, for example, now everybody wants to be, I'm going to be a, content creator.
Right.
I'm gonna be overnight make $1 million. They see somebody,
Yeah.
and you think you're gonna throw all your chips into that. Wait a minute, are you ready for that?
Yeah, because sometimes that can be the curse.
Yeah.
Going viral too soon, getting the opportunity too soon, that could be the curse, actually.
Yes, because you're right. It's kind of like this. Can you imagine somebody just got a driver's license? They're 17 years old, and you bought them a Lamborghini.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not going to end well. That's not going to end well.
It's not, because that car has a powerful.
It's too much.
It's 180 miles an hour on the speedometer.
Yeah. Or even how to drive it. You have to. It's a sports car. It's low to the ground.
Yeah.
You can't drive that like you drive an SUV or a normal car.
No.
You can't take the curves like you want. Like you're gonna scratch the whole bottom of that thing up.
That's right.
You're not aware of how to drive a car like that.
The experience isn't there yet.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of times, early success can be, a detriment to you.
Yeah. That, or you get addicted to the feeling, and then when you find a lull, you question yourself because you're like, am I meant for this? And it's just because you went up real quick, you think that this is where it's supposed to be. You still got to put the work in to get back there again. You just kind of hit it early.
Got to put the work in. That's the idea. I mean, you think about weight loss the same way. You can't shortcut. Oh, I'll just take a shot and get some, I'm not putting down anybody who gets a shot to lose weight.
Yeah.
But I do know that your weight came on 1 pound at a time.
Yeah.
And the thought of taking 10 pounds off at a time, not gonna last. Okay,
well, at least the longevity of it.
Yeah,
you still got to do some things in the natural to change your lifestyle.
Yes,
for the longevity of that. To keep that.
Yeah. So no matter what you do, and that's why you mentioned about school. You're right. College at that whole point, and I have very mixed emotion because I'm a college educator.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with the system now, the old way, go to school, get a good education, go get a good job, work for a company for 30, 40 years. That went out years ago.
Yeah.
Because there's no loyalty in business.
No.
You will get cut. You will lose a job. You will get fired. You will get terminated. Because the bottom line is, you don't fit. Like people talk about, it's a pyramid plan. Well, the job is the greatest pyramid ever because they focus on their bottom line and they hire you. And if you don't fit in there anymore, they'll get rid of you. Or if they're going to sell the company, they're not going to tell you, hey, we're selling in 6 weeks. You might want to look for another job.
Yeah.
No, you come in and they're gone.
Yeah.
So finding your why, finding what fits for you is important. And I'm so glad that you were able to find yours. And as a matter of fact, in your travel, and I know you've been doing, videography and weddings and all the kind of things that you used to do, and also with the photography, you get your drones. I've seen you on Instagram. Matter of fact, when I click and see you on Instagram, I keep looking back. Oh, okay, that's my son. But I try to look at objectively. I say, oh, that was good, and I like that. I see he's got that it factor. Using your drones and your travel.
Yeah.
I saw you in Morocco.
Yes.
What are some other countries have you been to around the world?
Morocco, Bali, South Africa, of course, like Dominican Republic, and Mexico City, which is one of my favorite cities in the world now. Those are my top ones. But I think my trip to Bali was the first big trip I've ever done. That's almost a 24-hour flight. Mm-hmm. So that was my first time I actually left and went on the other side of the world.
So you got to be in shape to take that flight.
Oh yeah.
So that's more than an hour flight. A 24-hour flight.
Flight. And we stopped in Qatar. So my first time kind of being in the Middle East for a little bit, and just it was a whole new world over there, and it was great to see. Yeah. And what experience did you have in Bali? Yeah. So I mean, one of the biggest thing that I did that was kind of life changing was we climbed a volcano. But when they pitched it to us, they just said we're going to climb like a hike. But this was a very, very, very hard hike. We got up at 3 a.m. It's pitch black. We get on a bus. We fall asleep on the bus. We wake up and we're kind of at a summit of something. And it's still really dark everywhere. So you don't really know the scale of anything. And they say go. And we have these little headlamps on. And there's a lot of people though. There was a lot of people on the volcano. But we were climbing up. And by the time we got to the top, we realized that we were above the clouds and the sun was out. But before that, you didn't know the sun was out because you were below the clouds. And the craziest thing is when you got to the top, there were monkeys up there just hanging out and like trying to steal people's snacks and stuff. But the view, just being able to see that, and I took a time lapse video. It's on my Instagram, and I took a photo that is one of my favorite photos, just because of what it takes, the metaphor of being able to climb the volcano and get up there and get that shot. I think a lot of photography nowadays, because of AI, a lot of what made photography great was the photographer being able to be in that place. What'd you do to go get the shot? Now with AI, people just kind of create the shot, and it's like, it's beautiful, but like the human didn't go up there and got it and get the shot. So I climbed the volcano, got this beautiful photo, and I'm gonna cherish it for the rest of my life, because it's who in the moment who I had to become to get to the top, see the view, smell what the air smelled like, and also do it with some friends that I went. It was a great experience. And when I was up there, and I didn't have reception the whole trip, I got to the top and my phone dinged, and I finally got a text message, and it was from my daughter, and she was just saying, "I miss you, da 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 da." But like, I was on top of the volcano, and the last place I thought I would get reception was that high in the air. And I thought, again, that was just like a sign for me that, like, you know, a signal, just like, yeah, I got you. Like the universe being like, I got you.
I got you. The idea of the hike, first of all, going up there. Oftentimes, this is something I got out of what you said, is that you got to climb in the dark sometimes. Going back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
You can't map out, I want to see. People say, when I can see it, I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It doesn't work that way. It is not, faith, it has nothing to do with what you see.
Yeah.
You know, there's a scripture that talks about that, a lamp unto my feet.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to step out and go. You climbed in the dark with a little light.
Yeah.
So oftentimes there is just a little light that you get to see, a little ray of hope. But I'm going to trust the process and go with, especially with other people. I'm not going alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that find your tribe and go, which says also make sure you're in the right tribe.
Yeah. And then along with that, you have to start at night to get there before the sun gets there.
Right.
If you don't start at 3 or 4 in the morning, by the time you get to the top, the sun it's risen.
That's right.
The sun's up already. You're trying to get there before the sun rises.
Get there before the sun rises. Plan ahead in the dark, struggling, tough climb, cold.
Yeah.
All the conditions that most people will turn around. I'm going back, because you lost some people when you said get up at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
You lost some people at that moment. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not getting up.
Right.
I'm done. I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
But the idea of it is that you went up at 3 in the morning with a group of people, with the right tribe,
Right.
not good conditions.
Right.
And so everything falls right in that line. You get up to the top. Again, it's dark and the sun, you're above the cloud. Just imagine, I want you all to get the picture of this. When he said the clouds were above you, then you went above the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're high. What was the altitude? The breathing like?
It's definitely a bit lighter for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and really, when we got to the top, you don't realize it until you look down and you see the village down low is still dark, because it's kind of in a valley, so the sunlight hasn't hit down there yet. So you're looking down and you're like, those people are still in bed thinking that it's nighttime. Really, the day has been here already. We're higher. You know?
Climbing
there's a
higher.
Metaphor there somewhere.
There's a beautiful metaphor there, because sometimes you got to go through the struggle and get to the top.
Yeah.
See the sunlight, the peaking of the sunrise coming up from a volcano.
Yeah.
And the people down low, oh, it's still dark. It's still dark. But it wasn't dark for you.
Yeah, it wasn't. No.
So which means a lot of time, to me, the metaphor is when I get to the top and I see a little ray of hope, everybody can't see what I'm meant to see.
Yeah.
It's not their time yet.
Yeah.
They have not. When they say I don't see it, because you're in the valley.
Yeah.
You didn't make the climb. You didn't go for it. Oh yeah, this is good stuff in here. Yeah, because at the end of the day, that picture you took.
Yeah.
Nobody can just go to AI and get a picture.
Yeah.
You put some sweat in, some sweat equity, but that moment of seeing that, you never forget that.
Yeah. And that's why I took a photo. And I went up there with the intent of, like, I'm going to try to get the best photo I can get, not knowing that it was going to look like that, because I didn't know what it was going to be like. But, man,
That journey.
The journey to get there. And again, the journey to get there is even more fun sometimes.
Yeah.
Because just climbing and talking to myself. But there was times I was like, oh, this is rough. But I'm like, I had my friends with me, and I'm like, I'm not about to be the one that's gonna give up. You know, I promised myself I'm going to the gym. I want to make sure I got it. But it was times I was like, okay, I gotta kind of jump over here to grab this thing. Like, it was kind of treacherous. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm in Indonesia climbing a volcano. Anyway.
I'm in Indonesia. I'm real. Hey, and the idea when you thinking about this, about you said, I'm not gonna let my friends down. That's kind of like when I left home at 20 years old. I turned 20 on my own, and my father said, a real man pays his own way. In this Jamaican accent, let me say it right. Yeah. A real man must pay his own way. He said that to me, and I knew I could come back home. Yeah. I got here, and I found out who FICA was. Hitting my check, I was struggling. Yeah. $20 could last every 2 weeks. Yeah, I gotta get gas. I was. I couldn't eat soft drinks, and I was drinking Kool-Aid, and so I had to go through the struggle. Yeah. I could have gone back, right. But my pride and my idea that in the eye of my father, that would have been 3 steps backwards. Yeah. And I said, nah, I'm sticking this out.
And sometimes you need your pride.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need your pride. Some people, they say it's a bad thing. It is in certain ways, but your pride keeps you on your track and keeps you pushing, it keeps you going. I'm not going back because I said I wasn't going back.
That's right.
I'm gonna find a way forward.
I'm gonna find a way forward. I'm gonna make this thing. I'm gonna make it work. And then when I got there and it started to work a little bit, I said I'm going back to school. I got to find a way for free education. Yeah. And I found out, but hey, police department. Well, do I really want to be police department? Yeah, free education. Yeah, that's my point. Yeah. And so just been grinding, climbing the next mountain. Yeah. Because you're at one level and you got to keep climbing and you got to keep moving and to do those things. And I just realized that story you talked about, and I saw the pictures you came back talking about, and the picture looks amazing. And I just realized that, something, climbing a mountain, all kind of stories of people who've had to climb mountains. Yeah. And it reminds me of the story I used to tell the students when I was a dare officer teaching them, and a story about a Native American boy that wanted to prove his manhood. So he sought out to climb a mountain, and by himself, 13 years old. So he wanted to go to prove himself. And he got up there, and the story is that once he got up to the top, it was so beautiful, and he looked over to the right, and he heard a rustle in the bush, and it was a rattlesnake. And so he was looking at it, and before he jumped away from it, and before he could do anything else, the snake spoke to him. Hey, it's cold up here. Take me down to the valley. And he says, oh no, I've been forewarned about you. You're a rattlesnake. If I pick you, you'll bite me. No, I'm cool. You cool. You gonna help me get me down? I got you. So he trusted him, picked the snake up, put it in his bag, got him down from the mountains, put him down in the valley. It was nice and sunny. And he let him out of the bag, and the snake started curling to go away, and the guy was going a separate way. He turned around and bit him on his ankle. Yeah. And ow, you bit me, you said you weren't going to bite me. You said this, and your word was this and that. The snake slithered away and said, you knew what I was when you picked me up. Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes along the journey, we pick up the wrong people. Yeah. We pick up people that are not in our tribe, who don't mean us well. Yeah. They talk the good game, but learning to discern.
Yeah, and deep down we know, like you said, discernment. Deep down you have a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know. Yeah. That's a rattlesnake. Yeah. You already know. Yeah. You knew what he was when you picked him up, And so therefore you go, look, I got to learn to do that. And I think oftentimes people don't find their tribe early. Yeah. Yeah. Or they find a tribe too early.
That too.
And they haven't been able to. So this whole thing it's a juggling.
Yeah, I think the whole life is a juggling, and what may not work out in the front half works out in the back, or vice versa. But I think as long as you have the faith that it's going to work out, that's going to keep you pushing.
Yeah, having that faith that I got this, that I can do this, and I've noticed that you have been on your journeys also. That you have been to Mexico several times. You said Mexico City. So what was important to you? What did you like about Mexico City?
Mexico City is New York City, but with better weather and more vegetation. But it It was huge. So many people. The food was amazing. The people are nice. And I really it felt like a city. It felt like home. Some you go to certain places and you just feel like I can live here. Mexico City was one of those places. I think obviously your money goes a bit further down there as well. But really the people were just so nice, and there's just so much to see and do in Mexico City, and the culture. But really the food got me. The food was good, and not just the Mexican food. Like I had some Asian food that was amazing. Everything I had there was amazing, and I think the community there. Every time I was in the parks, people were salsa dancing in the parks, dog walkers. It was just like a very it felt like you were not in the rat race of like what America is. People were just kind of in the parks on a random Tuesday taking salsa classes, and like it just felt like a very calmer. Now, granted, obviously a huge city, so there's different sides to everything. But where I was, I took a stroll through the neighborhood, and it just felt very communicative.
Oh yeah, that is so good in traveling. And as a matter of fact, I want to do something myself. I'm watching you, realize, okay, put that on the list. I got to go. I got to go there. But realizing now that you are obviously working for a company that's doing very well, and you're doing the branding, helping them to grow, obviously, and part of the corporate world, and you're actually doing what you love to do, film and photography and those types of things. But also on Instagram, I've noticed that you have a brand now. What is your brand?
The brand is Voyage Vision, and it's a travel brand where I sell my art, but also it's about perspective. It's about encouraging people to travel. It's about seeing the world differently through travel. One of the fun things I say is travel therapy. So a lot of times people, they go to a therapist because they want to change their life. But sometimes if you just take a trip somewhere you've never been, I think that perspective shift kind of cures everything you already had in your mind that was different. I think that sometimes, like I said, some of our problems are only our problems in the area we are. And if we uplifted ourselves and went somewhere else and saw the world a different way, you would realize that, one, that problem's not that big. I'm bigger than my problems. When I travel, I feel bigger as a person. Not like stature-wise, but just the way I feel is just bigger because my mind has been expanded. I've seen in Morocco, a Monday morning rush hour in Morocco. I've also seen one here in Charlotte. I understand that the world is the same everywhere, but at the same time, it's different at the same time. And I think that perspective is something that I want to share through my Voyage Vision. Obviously, create apparel and art that people can have to remind them that, life is bigger, but also just be able to kind of share my art with the world.
Yes, because I saw you on Instagram once with the shirt you got in Morocco.
Yeah.
I think you bought several of them.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful art. I think you said you were saying something in there about, hey, if you happen to also get the shirt, but didn't realize that it was a famous designer.
Yeah.
That made your shirt.
Yeah, he was one of the biggest designers in Morocco, but it was in like one of the little Medinas, which is like their kind of street shops. So you wouldn't know that it was a famous designer because they were just with the other things. But once I bought it and someone told me about it, I went and looked them up, and I'm like, oh wow, this guy is legit and he's known around the world. And I just picked it up at the market in Morocco. And again, that's a story that I can tell my daughter. That's a story that I'm gonna have forever when I'm 60 or 70. It's like, yeah, that one time in Morocco when I bought this shirt and I still have it in the closet. And just that you got to make life meaningful. Sometimes you got to put meaning in life, and things like that is what put the meaning in the life.
Put the meaning in the life, and not just some people always say, well, I'll just let life come to me.
Yeah.
No, you got to go create it.
Yeah, you got to put the meaning in it sometimes.
Yes, put the meaning into it and do what is important and helps you to feel better.
Yeah.
And overcome some of the issues, because a lot of times people, I truly believe, which is one of the reasons I love traveling places, go places, because I do it business wise a lot, right. and networking with a lot of people. You can tend to forget about some of the issues you got going on. Not that they went away.
Yeah.
But I went away and sometimes get in a different environment, different perspective, and seeing things you've never seen before. Talk to people. And sometimes people go, books have been written while people were away, in a spot or a place, or they met somebody that gave a whole new perspective.
Yeah. I think that song sometimes you want to go somewhere where nobody knows your name.
Yes.
From an old
old school,
old song, whatever. But like
That's
that's
right.
kind of that feeling of like nobody here knows who I am. There's a lot of power in that if you allow it. No one here knows who I am. I'm the only one carrying my story. So if I want to put that story down for a little bit, there's freedom in that. Now I can be who I want to be because no one here knows my name anyway.
Because oftentimes I believe that, and you mentioned therapy, because my background is in counseling. One of the things that that I teach, that so many people get caught up in their stuff, and they get stuck in their stuff from the past. That should have happened, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm the worst. There's no hope for me. And I'm stuck. I have no. I have to stay here because when you mentioned, because as we're talking here. I believe there's something strong in DNA. I call it Dana.
I agree.
My major was communication in college.
Yeah.
You ended up getting. I teach it. You had interpersonal. I teach a class, interpersonal relationship. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Okay. And the name of the book. I'm gonna plug the book. Oh my gosh! I never knew I had a choice. That was my favorite class that I teach. Out of all of them, that's my favorite. And the title of the book just tells it the whole story. I never knew I had a choice, which implies I do have a choice.
Right. Yeah.
I just didn't know it.
You didn't know it. Yeah.
And how many people are living their life stuck on, I'm not going to say the S word. Well, some people call it stuck on stupid.
Yeah.
But I'll say they're stuck on stuff that don't matter.
Yeah.
Their whole life is involved around things that don't matter, and they don't see hope in that. And I'm glad that you're able to go out and see hope, be able to see the world, teaching your daughter to do the very same thing.
Yeah.
Got your creativity, the style,
which is a new thing that I'm leaning into more.
Yeah. And I saw that. Tell us about the style.
Yeah, I've always been since I worked in fashion in New York, I've kind of been around it a lot. And I think how you show up in the world is important. I think that people are going to judge you regardless. So at least you can do is kind of put your best foot forward. I think that style has the ability to fashion itself, and it'll make you stand up taller. Like a good suit will have you walk in the room differently.
Come on.
So like I think as humans, our garments, what we wear is important. How we show up in the world is important. And that's something that I do every day. I look forward to getting dressed. So it's like, let me just go and share my passion with the world. I find that a lot of times it's low-hanging fruit. Everything that I do is low-hanging fruit to me because I already love fashion. I love creativity, I love photography, I love video. So me showing up on social media is finally me saying, hey, I'm going to let you guys see it now because this is what I've always done. Let me go ahead and share with the world and maybe inspire somebody else.
That's exactly right. Because me back in the 70s, some of the very same thing. Had the platform, the big bush, brother, Hey, you had the long length coat, leather coat, Shaft, who is the man? That's another story. Yeah. But it's the idea of the fashion too. I used to love that and still do whatever. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you're exactly right because so many people show up. Sometimes people don't know how to dress for success.
Yeah.
What they say, dress for the career you want, not the one you have. Yeah. And being able to share that.
Dress for who you want to be, not who you are. Even if you feel you're in a transition state, it's like sometimes putting on the right uniform, putting on the doctor's coat, it makes the doctor feel more official. Right. The doctor came to you with the hoodie on or whatever. It's like, okay, I know you still have the knowledge, but something about the white coat, something about the suit, something about that at the right time, it just does something mentally for the people observing and also the person themselves. Mm-hmm. I think it's really important.
And that's important too. When you've looked at all the travel that you've done and everything you're doing now, what joy or what brings you the most joy?
I think being able to continue to live the life that I want to live brings the joy. I think there isn't a metric that I look for. It's more just like, it's almost like a need for me. Mm-hmm. Like I need to travel. I need to express myself. I feel like I've been underexpressed for so long that now me expressing myself I'm happier.
Okay.
So sometimes I think if you have an urge in you, you might need to explore that urge of what that is. And I think that's the biggest thing for travel for me is being able to, one, have my life set up to where I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone, saving a couple bucks a week, a month, and putting that aside for travel is probably the best thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of transitioned from wanting tangible things so that I can go get experiences. Mm-hmm. I could have a better car, but then that means a higher car payment, which means that might cut into my ability to get the flight that I want to get or go travel. So it's like I've transitioned from material things to experiences, and through that I become a better person because those experiences make me a better person.
Powerful. What if I told you that some of the most powerful influences in your life live in your gut? That's right. Trillions of tiny microbes make up your gut microbiome, and they're busy chatting with your brain, your immune system, even your mood. These conversations are called gut axes. Think of it as your body's group chat. When the gut speaks, everything listens. So if you're unhappy, check your gut. Your energy, your focus, your digestive might feel better. The good news, small changes like eating more fiber, supporting good bacteria, and managing stress can make a big difference in your health. Tiny microbes, huge impact. Start in the gut. Change one thing and change everything. Go to MauriceMcDonald.net. That's MauriceMcDonald to learn more about the gut health and get the healthy edge, or call 877-634-8194 to get free samples. That's 877-634-8194. Do it today.